What are the sections for accounts and auditors?
128 to 148.
128 to 148. Okay. What are the main definitions that you need to remember?
Books of accounts, books and papers, financial statement, financial year.
Okay. Books and paper. Okay. 212, 213, 240 and 241. Okay. What is 212? Books and papers and book or paper includes books of accounts, deeds, vouchers, writing, documents, minutes and register. What kind of definition is this? Inclusive definition. Okay, what and all is included? Accounts, deeds, vouchers, writings, documents, minutes, and registers. Totally 6. Remember that accounts, deeds, vouchers, writings, documents, minutes, and registers. Okay. Then what are your books of accounts? 2 plus 13. What kind of definition is this? Inclusive. You didn't tell that it wasn't there. Okay. 213 books of accounts includes all the sums of money that has been received and expended by a company and the matters in relation to which receipts and expenditure take place. First thing, what are they telling? All the sum of money that the company has received and all the sum of money that the company has spent and the matters in relation to this income and expenditure. Okay. First point is clear. Then second, all sales and purchases of goods and services. This is nothing but which will give you your turnover. All sales, purchases of goods and services by the company. Your assets and liabilities is nothing but your
Paid up assets minus capital.
your balance sheet. Assets and liabilities are level. Balance sheet. And the items of cost as may be prescribed under section 148 of the Act in case of company which belongs to any class of company specified under that section. Okay, so what is the first point? All sums of money received and expended by the company, then all the sales and purchases made by the company, then assets and liabilities, then items of cost as may be prescribed under section 148. This is finished from front. Financial statement, balance sheet, profit and loss account, and in case of company which is carrying any activity not for profit, then you will call that what? Instead of
Non-profitable.
but what will you call that profit and loss account? Income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account. If it is a non-profit organization, you will, because the object there is not profit. So you will not be looking at it in terms of profit and loss. You will be looking at it in terms of income and expenditure, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, then any explanatory note annexed to or forming part of any document referred to in subclause 1 to subclause 4. Okay, subclause 1 to subclause 4. Remember these 5 points: balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and any explanatory note annexed to or forming part of any document referred to in subclause 1 to 4. Anything that forms part of which gives an explanatory note to either to cash flow statement, profit and loss account, balance sheet, or anything in from clause 1 to clause 4, even that will be included in the definition of financial statements. Is it inclusive or exclusive? Inclusive definition. Okay. Then financial year. Financial year in relation to any company or body corporate means the period ending on 31st March of every year, and where it has been incorporated on or after 1st January of a year, the period ending on 31st March of the following year. How will you interpret this? Year in this definition would mean calendar year. Okay, would mean calendar year. If at all the company is incorporated on 2nd January 2024. Till now, what was our understanding? That the financial year will end on 31st March 2024. But this definition says that if at all the company is incorporated either on 1st January or after 1st January, then the financial year will end on the 31st day of March of the subsequent of the following year. That will, so it will end on 31st March 2025. 25. The company was incorporated when 2nd January 2024. Okay. Now when will it end? Not on 31st March 2024, but on 31st March 2025. Okay. 4 definitions: books and papers, books of accounts, financial statements, and financial year. Okay. Financial statement, what are the 5 points? Balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and any explanatory note annexed to or forming part of any document will refer to it clause 1 to 4. Okay. Then books of accounts, all sums of money received and expended by the company, all sales and purchases of goods and services by the company, assets and liabilities of the company, items of cost as may be prescribed under section 148. Okay. You and branch office means branch office in relation to company means any establishment described as such by the company. Okay, go through these 5 definitions quickly. Now section 128. What does section 128 deal with? Requirement of maintaining books of accounts. Every company, whether public, private, small company, listed company, does not matter. Every company has to comply with section 128. First thing, underline 128. It should prepare and keep at the registered office. Okay. What are they telling? You should prepare your books of accounts and you should keep your books of accounts where? At the registered office, and any other relevant books and papers and financial statement for every financial year. Okay, this obligation is repetitive in nature. It is for every company, for every financial year. It is regarding your books of accounts. Do not get confused with financial statements over here. Okay, it is only for books of papers. Where should you keep it? Registered office. And you should prepare and keep at the registered office for every financial year. Okay. Can you maintain it at any other place in India?
Yes, central government.
Approval or which form?
AOC.
AOC 5. Okay. Section 128 (1) of the Act requires every company to prepare the books of accounts and other relevant books and papers and financial statements at its registered office. However, all or any of the books of accounts may be kept in such other place in India. It may be kept in such other place in India as the board may decide. So who is deciding at the end of the day? Board of directors. You don't even need shareholders approval. Okay. When the board so decides, the company is required to give how many days? Within 7 days of such decision to file with ROC a notice. See, it is not approval, it is notice. See, what we have decided. I'm just informing you that books of accounts are in so and so place, and I have to, let's say the board resolution was passed on 1st January. I have 7 days of time to file AOC 5. Is this clear? Okay. How many days time I have? 7 days. Okay. So first thing, books of accounts has to be maintained at the registered office for every financial year. Is it only for any specific company? No, for every company. Okay. Then where should it be generally maintained at? The head of the registered office. Can we maintain it outside the registered office? Yes, but inside, but in India, whose approval is needed? Board of directors approval is needed. Shareholders approval is needed? Not needed. And once the decision is taken to maintain it at any other place other than registered office in India, what should you do? Within 7 days, file AOC 5. Is it an approval? No, then it is a notice given to the register. Okay, clear? This is electronic mode and you guys will be doing it. Okay. Now preservation of books of accounts. For how many years should it be preserved? 8. For 8 years? Fixed 8 years?
No.
Minimum 8 years. Minimum 8 years. So how will you rate it?
Minimum 8 years. Not less than. Not
less than 8 years. Not less than 8 years. Not less than 8 ಗಿನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. The books of accounts of every company shall be kept in good order for a period related or to not less than 8 financial years immediately preceding the financial year, or where the company had been in existence for less than 8 years, then for the throughout the lifetime of the company. Let's say it was incorporated only 5 years back. Of course, it has to maintain for the whole of the 5 years. Okay, along with vouchers relevant to any entry in such books of accounts. However, where an investigation has been ordered in respect of the company, the central government may direct the books of accounts may be kept ever such longer period as it may deem fit. Okay. Now, who are responsible to maintain the books of accounts? Managing director, board of directors,
CFO or any other person.
Any other person of a company charged by the board with the duty of complying with the provisions of 128 of the Act. What is the penalty? Shall be punishable with a fine which shall not be less than 50,000 rupees, but which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. Okay. Go through 128. How many of you have studied this before? This chapter? How? We observe, see, automatically How are you studying number? Good, confident. CAFM? EFM. How are you? CAFM. Huh?
CFM goods.
Financial statements. Now, financial statement. Okay. 128 was, remember, 128 deals with books of accounts, 129 deals with financial statements. The financial statement shall give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company or companies. First thing, true and fair view should be given by the financial statements regarding the state of affairs of the company in the form as provided for different classes in Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is giving you different formats for your financial statements. Okay, for different class of companies, there might be different changes in the forms of your financial statements. So first thing, what are they telling? The financial statement shall give true and fair view regarding what? Regarding the state of affairs. Of whom? Of the company. Okay. As provided for different classes or classes of companies in Schedule 3 and shall comply with accounting standards under which section? 133. Broadly, if you look at it, only 2 points are there in this. Okay. What are the 2 points? True and fair view and accounting standards. Okay. Or 3 points, true and fair view, Schedule 3 and accounting standards under section 133. However, insurance company, banking companies and companies engaged in generation or supply of electricity or any other class of companies shall make financial statements in the form as specified in the act governing such companies or under the act governing such class of companies. Okay, which are those? Basically, you remember I explained, how did I explain this provision? Special law and general law. Here, of course, for these companies, you have different laws. For insurance companies, you have IRDA Act. Then for banking companies, you have RBI Act and Banking Regulation Act. Then you will have your acts for companies engaged in generation and supply of electricity. Okay. Now, how should they make financial statements? They should make their financial statements as per the provisions given under their respective governing laws. Okay. Now think about it. Just because it is a special law, do they mean that they will throw aside Companies Act? No. Only when there is a conflict, only then they will comply with special law. See, end of the day, no matter your Kotak Mahindra Bank or any of the insurance companies, a life insurance company, all these are incorporated under which law? Companies Act 2030. They have been given licenses to do this particular business under these laws. Okay. Now, Kotak Mahindra Bank is there. Is it incorporated under Companies Act 2013? Yes. So, should you comply with Companies Act 2013? Yes. But you got the license to do banking business under Banking Regulation Act. That's the reason wherever there is a conflict between Companies Act and any other special law, which will prevail? Your special law will prevail. Any reference to financial statement shall include any notes annexed to or forming part of the financial statement giving information required to be given and allowed to be given in the form of such notes under the Companies Act 2030. Clear? Now, what do you mean by true and fair view? True and fair view with respect to financial statement would mean financial statements are complying with accounting standards. They are in Schedule 3, forms are specified in Schedule 3, and for whichever company, basically those special laws. See, they have told about Insurance Act 1938 or Insurance Regulatory Development Authority Act 1999, Banking Regulation Act of 1949, Electricity Act of 2003, and in case of any other company governed by any other law for the time being in force, you have to comply with that particular law. Whatever we have studied about, they have just given the law, they have mentioned the laws as well. The same thing. What do here basically in this page we are seeing what do you mean by true and fair? First thing, accounting standards you should be complying with. Okay. Second, Schedule 3 should be complied with. But for which company Schedule 3 need not be complied? All these special companies. Then where any financial statements of a company do not comply with the accounting standards under 133, the company shall disclose in its financial statements the deviation from the accounting standards and what will be the effect. Let's say you are a company and for some reason you felt like accounting standards are waste of time and you will not follow. But then, if at all you have not followed, say what was the deviation and what was the effect on the financial statement. Now, the amounts will change. No, amounts will change the moment you stop following your financials. Okay, go through this. Now, who are responsible for compliance? Managing Director, Full-time Director, CFO, any other person charged by the Board of Directors with the responsibility of complying with the requirements of Section 129. 129. 129 ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತು? ಇನ್ನ ಮಾಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. 128. 128. Where any of the aforesaid mentioned officers are absent, all the directors shall be responsible and punishable. Okay. What will be the penalty? Go through the penalty. Now, consolidated financial statements. Okay. What do you mean by consolidated financial statement? Let's say you have a subsidiary company or a holding company. You will be preparing a consolidated financial statement of your own company and your holding company or subsidiary company. Okay. Together, you will be preparing one financial statement. Does that mean you will not prepare your standalone financial statements? No. You will still prepare your standalone financial statements. According to subsection 3 of 129, where a company has one or more subsidiaries or associates. What are they telling? Has one or more subsidiaries or associate companies. Okay. It shall, in addition to its financial statement, under standalone financial statements. Let's say A Limited is there, A Limited subsidiary company is B Limited. So now a consolidated financial statement has to be prepared for A Limited and B Limited together. And even A Limited should prepare its own financial statements. Okay. Prepare a consolidated financial statement of the company and all the subsidiaries and associate companies in the same form and manner as that of its own and in accordance with the applicable accounting standard, which shall also be laid before the annual general meeting of the company along with laying of its financial statements. And it should also attach salient features of financial statements in which form? AOC 1. Okay. What to tell you from the beginning?
There is a company and it had the subsidiary, the consolidated balance sheet it would prepare
Financial statements.
financial statement. Along with that, the company's financial statement also it should prepare.
Its own standalone. A limited separate ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ A and B limited together ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಂಗಂತ B limited will also have its own financial statement. So who is having the obligation if you think about it? Holding company or subsidiary company is that?
Subsidiary.
Who is having the obligation to prepare consolidated financial statement? Holding company. Subsidiary company will only prepare its own financial statements. No, statutory auditor. Will the internal auditor prepare?
I mean,
No, internal auditor will not prepare.
for both.
Yeah. Statutory auditor has to prepare. Your CA practicing chartered accountant you should prepare the financial statement. Even there you see, remember, no disqualifications who cannot be a auditor of the company. Employee can never be an auditor of the company. Whenever I am simply saying auditor, I mean to say statutory auditor. Not me exactly, company staff. Sorry, it was not so good. What? You remember initially, Ibru class ಅಲ್ಲಿ exercise ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ. That actually ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ passing percentage ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ ಅದು? How many of you are happy with that preparation? Do not play games, do not be like ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ jinx ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ or reasonably satisfied with their preparation. You're satisfied? Naman?
Close.
No.
June okay.
ನಮ್ಗೆ
ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಜಯನಗರ್ ಅವರು 3 4 7 ಜನ ಇದೆ 7 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ okay two people are telling that they are happy with their preparation. You understood? Now that time what did I say? Ardhakarda jana, but in reality it will be much less. See, I'm not trying to say anything, but you getting what I'm trying to say, no? Our preparation ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ರೆ automatically people will clear. And ಕೆಲವು ಇವಾಗ now all of you are attending classes and you are having doubts, and this is normal. Probably in the June attempt also. Now, if I ask, these both who have told that their preparation, they are happy with their preparation. If you ask them, are you 100% sure that you will clear? No. No one is sure about that. ಅದು ಯಾರು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. Okay. But will this change in June attempt? Probably no. So the nature of these exams are like this. You need to make peace with it. If you try to control your results, trust me, the more you try controlling and focusing on results, ironically, the chances of you clearing exams will reduce. But if at all you focus more on the process, that no, I just want to study, I want to prepare well, your chances of clearing exam will automatically go up. As simple as that. At that point of time, when I told many people, some students though also texted me, sir, will really half the people not be sure? I'm like, keep seeing. It will be less than that. So if you look at it, 15-20% pass percentage, almost everyone who has prepared is ending up clearing. But if you keep worrying about results, ಓದೋದು ನೀವು ಓದಲ್ಲ. You will only be thinking about results and you will not be taking any action to study. I think that's even last attempt, even you did that. Focusing on results, ಬೇಗ clear ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, taking more than what you actually can. And then what will happen? Everything will pile up in the end and then reality check starts happening. ಇವತ್ತಿಗಿನ್ನ 16 ದಿನ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ದಿನ, ಒಂದು 5 ದಿನ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ. ಮುದೇಶ್ಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಮನ್ಗೆ ಅವಾಗ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Okay? But at the same time, will you give the example? I'm glad that at least you guys are going to exam. And no matter what, I'm telling it for everyone. Yesterday also I'll repeat it 100 times. Even if it is boring, listen to it. 100% of the question paper has to be attempted. ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ 100% ಬರೀಬೇಕು. Attempt ಅಂತೂ 100% ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. You need to come out of your comfort zone. Your mind and your body might be asking you to give your exam paper and come out of exam hall, come out of that negative environment, but you need to ask it to force yourself to sit there. You need to force yourself to sit there. That is when you will start getting to the exam, used to the exam pattern. Next thing, forget about results. I really don't care about results because I really don't care about your results with December attempt. What I mean to say is, once you get comfortable sitting for 3 hours, irrespective of how the question paper is, I am pretty much sure now you have built that psyche to go and clear the exams in the subsequent times. Once you can crack the code for sitting for 3 hours without finding shortcuts, I am 100% sure some or the other point of time you will be a success. If at all you have this habit of ಇಲ್ಲ ಎದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹೊರಗೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, first exam went well, second exam went bad, so anyways I will not clear my exams, so I will not go to the remaining 2 exams. If this mentality starts coming, no, again for the next attempt the story will repeat for sure. I am telling based on seeing so many students. Every student will be like next attempt ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಗೆ 100% ಗಿವ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋ ಬರ್ಬಿಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ December 29th or 31st or January 1st, whenever you want, I will sit down with you and discuss what to do for June, whether to go for both the groups or how to plan it so that your results do not get affected. No matter what is the results, your preparation of January and February should not be affected for June. Like that you should plan, and that I'll help you. But the only requirement before that is, what should you do? Sit for 3 hours. No matter how bad you are feeling, one question ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, 3 hours you are sitting. Get comfortable, no matter how boring it is, without your phone, nothing. Sit there. Look at other people. Okay? This promise I want. Everything else aside. ಇವತ್ತು ತನಕ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Okay? But this one thing, please don't say no. You have to do it. Okay, now. Pakka? Promise? Pinky promise? Okay. Naman.
Yes, sir. That's it for me.
ನನಗೆ and you know I will text you guys in the middle of your exam. ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಒಬ್ಬರದು ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಫೋನ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆನ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಡೋದಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟ್ರಬಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ನೋ, I'll trouble you more in the next batch.
I switch off.
You switch off your phone, but sit in exam. I am telling you, I'll really check this time. No single phone should come online or should be switched off. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದ ಆ ಕಥೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಓಕೆನಾ ಸರ್? Okay, let's continue. Now, manner of consolidation. The consolidation of financial statements of the company shall be made in accordance with the provision of Schedule 3 of the Act and the applicable accounting standards. Schedule 3 and applicable accounting standards normally. Provided that in case of company covered under subsection 3 of 129 of the Act, which is not required to prepare CFS under accounting standards, it shall be sufficient if the company complies with the provisions on consolidated financial statement provided in Schedule 3 of the Act, provided in the Schedule 3 of the Act, provided further that nothing in this rule shall apply in respect of preparation of consolidated financial statements by a company if it meets the following conditions. Now, this proviso is important because it is giving you exceptions to the above rule. When you don't have to prepare your consolidated financial statements, if it is a wholly owned subsidiary or partially owned subsidiary of another company, and all its other members, including those not otherwise entitled to vote, have been intimated in writing. Okay, even those persons who do not have a right to vote, basically you have given an intimation to all the members irrespective of whether they have a right to vote or not. What are you intimating? That was for which proof of delivery is there and that they do not object in not presenting the consolidated financial statements. Basically, we have to take consent from all the members saying that it's okay even if you don't prepare your CFS. Okay, then it is a company whose securities are not listed or are not in the process of getting listed on the stock exchange, whether in India or outside India. Its ultimate or intermediate holding company files consolidated financial statements. For example, A Limited is there, B subsidiary of A Limited is B Limited, and B Limited subsidiary is C Limited. If at all, what did we see here? Every holding company should prepare consolidated financial statement with respect to its associate companies. So if you look at it, A Limited should prepare consolidated financial statement. And if you just give the plain reading of this definition, section 129, even B Limited is required to prepare consolidated financial statement. But will it serve any purpose? No, because end of the day, the numbers will be the same, no? Consolidated financial statements. So if at all your ultimate holding company, either A Limited or B Limited has prepared CFS, then the other company need not prepare your consolidated financial statements. These are the three exceptions where preparation of consolidated financial statements is not necessary. Okay? Here. 128 and 129.
During the exam, either A or B should prepare a consolidated financial.
But if this exception you wouldn't have read, both A should also prepare and B should also prepare. Just interpretation. But this proviso is clarifying that if any one of them has prepared, then the other person will not be. Done? Quickly, 128. Which and all companies have to maintain books of accounts? Every company. Where should they maintain? At the registered office. Can they maintain anywhere else? Yes. But where? In India. In India. Whose decision it is? Board of Directors. Do you need shareholders' approval? No. Within how many days should you file? 7 days. Which form will you file? AOC file. Then is it an approval from ROC? It is no. Okay, clear? Then what else was there? And who and all are responsible for maintaining any other person charged with the responsibility of maintaining books of accounts under section 128 by the board of directors. The same thing for financial statements. What were the 3 requirements for section 129? The first point,
True and fair review.
true and fair review. Accounting standards under which section? 133. Which companies are not required to follow these?
Statute.
That companies which are under different acts, like
Which are regulated by their own laws. Which are those companies?
Banking.
Banking company under which law?
banking regulation,
1949. Then
Electricity.
the which year? Act
2003.
2003 Electricity Act. Then insurance company. 2 laws were there.
Insurance company 38 and IRDA 99.
Perfect. Okay. Or any other law, any other company which is governed by any other law for the time being in force. Okay. Then is it required for it to be consolidated? Is it required for every company to prepare consolidated financial statements? No, only those companies which are having subsidiaries or associate companies. Okay. Then this proviso gives you 3 exceptions. Okay. You remember these 3? Fully owned subsidiary or partly owned, where you are taking consent from all the members, including the ones who are not entitled to vote. Second, if the company or securities are not listed or are not in the process of getting listed, then its ultimate or intermediary holding company have prepared consolidated financial statements with the registrar, which are in compliance with the accounting standards. See, third point is important. Okay. If its ultimate company, see, if its ultimate holding company prepared consolidated financial statements without complying with accounting standards, then B Limited has to prepare consolidated financial statements with compliance with accounting standards. Okay. Now 129A, the central government may require such class of unlisted companies as may be prescribed to prepare the financial results of the company on such periodical basis. On what basis? On periodical basis in such form as may be prescribed to approve and to obtain the approval of the board of directors to complete the audit or limit review of such periodical financial results in such manner as may be prescribed. File a copy with the registrar within how many days? Within 30 days of completion of relevant period with such fees as may be prescribed. Reopening of accounts on the courts or tribunals orders. On the courts or tribunals orders. 128, 129 and 129A is done. Now 130 and 131.
Remember.
You want to recollect once? ಎಲ್ಲರದಾಯ್ತಾ ತಿಂಡಿ ಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಕು ಇರ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 130 Section 130 of the Act provides for reopening or recasting of books of accounts, and 131 deals with what? Books of accounts or financial statements. 131 is voluntary revision of financial statements. 130 deals with reopening or recasting of the books of accounts of the company. A company shall not reopen its books of accounts and shall not recast its financial statements. company can never reopen the books of accounts and can never recast its books of accounts unless an application to the tribunal or by a court of competent jurisdiction in this regard is made by any of the following: central government, income tax authority, SEBI, or any other statutory regulatory body or authority. What do you mean by statutory regulatory body? Which is incorporated under a particular law. For example, SEBI was incorporated under SEBI Act 1992. IBBI was incorporated under IBC 2016. These are your statutory regulatory bodies. An order in this regard is made by a court of competent jurisdiction or the tribunal. Is this clear? Okay. So who can make application? Central government, income tax authority, SEBI, or any other statutory regulatory body. An order in this regard is made by court of competent jurisdiction or the tribunal. The reopening or recasting of financial statement is permitted only for the following reasons: it was prepared in fraudulent manner, okay, and the affairs of the company were mismanaged during the relevant period, or a doubt is cast on the reliability of the financial statements. Nice. Okay. Then tribunal shall give notice to the remaining people: central government, income tax authority, SEBI, or any other statutory regulatory body. The accounts so revised or recast under this section shall be final. It shall be final. No order under 131 in respect of reopening of any books of accounts for a period of earlier than 8 financial years. You cannot reopen the books of accounts earlier than 8 financial years. Up to the 8th preceding financial year, you can reopen and recast the financial statements, but prior to 8 financial years, you cannot reopen or recast its financial statements. Is this clear? Okay. Provided that where a direction has been issued by central government under the proviso or to subsection of 128 for keeping of the books of accounts for a period longer than 8 years, the books of accounts may be ordered to be reopened with such longer period. See, what is the general rule? You have to maintain your books of accounts and financials for how many years? For 8 years. But if at all some government order is there that was, you will have to maintain it for 20 years. Okay. Then the books of accounts can be recasted and reopened for longer than 8 years. That is, prior to 8 years also can be reopened when these kind of orders are present, issued on the company. Clear? Then voluntary revision of financial statement. 131 of the Act allows the directors to prepare revised financial statements. Who is having the authority here? Directors are allowed to prepare revised financial statement or revised board's report. Board's report under section 130, 134. Perfect. In respect of any of the 3 preceding financial years. 138 financial years to 3 preceding financial years after obtaining whose approval? Tribunal's approval. Here you are not giving notice like AOC 5. You are taking approval of the tribunal to reopen the financials. If it appears to them that the company's financial statement or the board's report has not been complied with the requirements of 129 or 134 of the Act, the tribunal shall give notice to whom? Central government, income tax authority, SEBI. If at all you have any representation. See, boss, they have come asking, let's say I am the tribunal and you have come asking me for revision of financial statements. I will give a notice to central government, income tax authority, or any other statutory regulatory body asking them to make their representations if they have any representations. If they do not have any representations, I will go ahead and approve the revision of financial statement. The detailed reasons for revision of financial statement or report shall also be disclosed in the board's report in the relevant financial year in which the revision was made. Let's say I revised the financials of 2020, 2021. Okay, 2021 financials have been revised by me. In this case, and when did I revise it? Let's say in 2022-23. Okay. Now in 2022-23's board report, I have to disclose that detailed reasons that why did the directors go ahead with revision of financial statements? Because shareholders' money. Shareholders should be answered to. Shareholders should be given explanation for all the actions taken by the board of directors. Where the copies of previous financial statement or board report have been sent out to the members or delivered to the registrar or laid before the company in the general meeting, the revisions must be confined to correction in respect of the previous financial statement or report do not comply with the provisions of 129 or 134 of the Act, the making of any necessary or consequential alteration. Yeah. Go through this. Yeah. Take a breakfast break. Come back quickly. NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. Okay. Section 132 of Companies Act 2013, the central government has introduced new regulatory authority named NAFRA. It replaced what? National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. Okay. Let's look at NAFRA. The central government has introduced a new regulatory authority named NFRA, okay, with wide powers to do three things: recommend, enforce, and monitor. Tell what are the three things that the NFRA can do: recommend, enforce, and monitor. Okay, it will recommend accounting standards, it will enforce accounting standards, and it will monitor. Monitor is the chartered accountants, monitor the professionals, whoever is using the accounting standards. Okay, as the compliance of accounting and auditing standards, it was constituted when on 1st October 2018, the erstwhile Companies Act 1956 had empowered central government, okay, the central government to form a committee of recommendations on accounting standard, which is National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. Okay, this has now been renamed to NFRA. The National Financial Reporting Authority performs its function through such divisions as may be prescribed. What are the three things it will do? Monitor, enforce, and recommend, enforce, and monitor. Okay, recommend, enforce, and monitor. What is NFRA is responsible with? NFRA is responsible for monitoring and enforcing compliance of auditing and accounting standards. What is it? Monitoring and enforcing compliance with accounting and auditing standards, and for that purpose oversee the quality of professionals, oversee the quality of professions associated with ensuring such compliance. Now, who is the one who will actually take care of, which professional will actually take care of accounting standards? Which professional? Chartered accountants. So chartered accountants will come under the purview of NFRA. Okay. The authority has the power to investigate professional and other misconducts. Okay. Authority to investigate the professional misconducts and other misconducts. So it has even the authority to investigate and these three things. Okay. Which may be recommended by chartered accountancy members and firms. NFRA is a quasi-judicial body, regulate the matters. Okay, what do you mean by quasi-judicial body? It can also decide and pass orders. How SEBI can issue orders. Okay, how SEBI can issue orders. Similarly, even NFRA has the authority to issue orders. With increasing demand for non-financial reporting, it may be referred to as national level business reporting authority to regulate standards of all kind of reporting, financial as well as non-financial, by compliances in future. National NFRA shall give recommendations on accounting standards and auditing standards. Go through this. Section, which section deals with NFRA? 132. Okay, what will it do? Recommend, monitor, and enforce. Okay, then it can also investigate the professional and other misconducts associated and with who are associated with ensuring compliance of these standards, and they will also recommend accounting standards and auditing standards to the central government. They'll recommend. They are not the ones who will decide which accounting standard. They'll only recommend. End of the day, who has the authority to give accounting standards? Central government. Okay. Now coming to objectives. Recommendation. See the same thing. Recommend, monitor, oversee, and perform. Similar to whatever we have seen above. Monitor, recommend, oversee, perform. Recommend, monitor, oversee, and perform. What will you recommend to central government? Accounting standards and auditing standards for adoption by companies, class of companies or their auditors. Monitor and enforce the compliance with the accounting standards. You will monitor the compliance with accounting standard and enforce the compliance with accounting standards. What is the difference between monitoring and enforcement?
Monitor is checking whether they are following the rule
And enforcing?
make sure that they are
How will you make sure?
by correcting them or
If at all they do not comply, you can impose penalties.
and it is a quasi-judicial body, they have the authority to.
Okay. Oversee the quality of service of professional. Oversee the quality of service of professionals associated with ensuring compliance with such standards and suggest measures required for the improvement in quality of service. Then perform such other functions as may be prescribed in relation to aforementioned objectives. Clear? Remember these 4 points. Go through these and remember. Done. Now, constitution of NFRA. It consists of chairperson who shall be a person of eminence and having expertise in what? Accountancy, auditing, finance, or law to be nominated by central government. It consists of chairperson. Who is nominating chairperson? Central government. He should be having expertise in law, finance, okay, accountancy, okay, auditing, and he is nominated by central government, and such other prescribed manners not exceeding such other prescribed members not exceeding how many? 15, consisting of part-time and whole-time members as prescribed. Okay. Each division of NFRA shall be presided over chairperson or a full-time authorized by chairperson. There shall be an executive body of NFRA consisting of chairperson and members of such authority for efficient discharge of the functions. Ondu, basically you're talking about NFRA. There is chairperson and there will be 15 other members. These 15 members can be, some will be part-time and some will be full-time. Okay. Then you have an executive body of NFRA. So if you think about it, this executive body is under NFRA or is more like an extension of NFRA, more like board committees. Okay. In that executive body should consist of chairperson and full-time members of authority for doing what? For efficient discharge of its functions under subsection 2 of 132. We saw those four objectives, no? For discharging those functions, you will have an executive body which will consist of chairperson and full-time members. So executive body will not have part-time members. Write it down there. Executive body will not have part-time members. Yeah. Then the chairperson and all members shall make a declaration in the prescribed manner about no conflict of interest or lack of independence. Okay, you should make a declaration that there is no conflict of interest or that there is no lack of independence in respect of the appointment. The chairperson and full-time member shall not be associated with any audit firm or consultancy firm during the appointment. When they have been appointed, you should not be associated with any audit firm or consultancy firm. And after you cease to hold the appointment, for 2 years you will not be having any association. Reason being, see, you are the ones who are overseeing your chartered accountants. Tomorrow you are going and sitting in their office only. So that conflict of interest will come. No, you will never pass orders against them. Even if they do something wrong, you will not pass, because even you are part of that firm. So during your appointment, you should not be associated, and after your appointment for 2 years, you should not be associated. Clear? The central government may appoint a secretary and such other employees as it may consider necessary for its efficient performance of functions by the NFRA under Companies Act 2013. Where is the head office? New Delhi. And it shall meet at such other places in India. NFRA shall meet at such times and places and shall observe rules of procedure regarding to the transaction of business at its meetings. Maintenance of books of accounts. it should maintain such books of accounts and other books in relation to its accounts in such form and in such manner as the central government in consultation with CAG of India prescribe. As per CAG's prescriptions, who is comptroller auditor of general? He is nothing but an auditor of the government. Okay, he is the one who maintains the books of accounts for all the government bodies, all the statutory authorities. Now he has to, in consultation with CAG, you will maintain your books of accounts and other books in relation to accounts in such form and manner as the central government may in consultation with CAG prescribe. Who is prescribing at the end of the day, central government or CAG? Central government is prescribing. Central government in consultation with CAG. So they'll take the opinions of CAG and then prescribe your how should you be maintaining your books of accounts and books. Audit of NFRA and annual report to the central government. The accounts of NFRA is required to be audited by CAG at such intervals and as may be specified by him, and such accounts as certified by the CAG of India together with the audit report thereon shall be forwarded annually to the central government by NFRA. Okay, it should be forwarded to CAG by the NFRA. The NFRA shall prepare in such form at such time for each financial year as may be prescribed its annual report giving the full account of its activities. Then the NFRA has the power to investigate either on suo motu or reference made to it by the central government for such class of body, corporates or persons in such manner as prescribed into the matters of professional or other misconduct committed by any member or firm of chartered accountants registered under the Chartered Accountants Act of 1940. So basically, it has the power to investigate.
ಸಚಿನ್ ತೆಂಡೂಲ್ಕರ್ ಮಗ ಅರ್ಜುನ್ ತೆಂಡೂಲ್ಕರ್
Come to 134. Signing of financial statement. The financial statement, including consolidated financial statement, if any, it should be approved by whom? By Board of Directors. Before they are signed on behalf of the Board of Directors by the chairperson of the company, where he is authorized by board or two directors, out of which one should be managing director, if any. If there is any managing director, then out of the two directors, one should be managing director, and chief executive officer, CFO, and company secretary of the company, where they are appointed, or in case of OPC, only by one director for submission to the auditor of his report. The auditor report shall be attached to every financial statement. A report by its board of directors shall also be attached to the statements laid before the company in the general meeting. Go through this. Simple, right? Here till 134. 133 accounting standards they've just given to which companies. I think you guys can go through that. Okay. Until now, from the beginning, just turn the pages, see if you have any doubts.
You should be said by the, anyone is appointed by the board. Or two directors, one including managing director,
If there is managing director
or else, CFO,
or any two directors,
or any two directors.
any two directors, see,
Chief Executive Officer, CFO.
addition to those,
OP.
in addition with two directors, CEO, CFO, and CS.
That time we told statutory auditors. Then if statutory auditor is doing the audits, then what internal auditor?
Internal audit, internally, what are the compliances, whatever, there is no specific procedure given for internal auditor. Okay, it can be anything. It can be, let's say, if it's a banking company, how are they maintaining the books of accounts? Are you taking necessary precautions? And how are you maintaining your branch offices? That's what internal auditors will do. That's totally different from what statutory auditors will do. Statutory auditors will prepare your books of accounts, will audit your books of accounts and certify it. But internal auditor is an employee of the company. He need not be a chartered accountant. They have not even given that he should be of so and so qualification. He can be anyone. Even an advocate or a CS can be appointed as an internal auditor. That's it.
Then so statutory auditor is also external.
Statutory auditor is external. You cannot be an employee and be a statutory auditor of the company.
So,
Hmm.
the executive body of the NFRA, why they are excluding part-time members?
Hmm?
Why they are excluding part-time members?
Who?
Like in the executive body of NFRA.
Huh.
In NFRA, part-time
Someone has to perform those functions, no? Then they are telling that it should be only full-time members.
executive body of NFRA.
So that's what here the functions might be more. That's the reason they would have told that you should not be having part-time members. Of audit financial statements. According to 136, a copy of financial statements including CFS, if any auditor's report along with every other document, okay, it shall be laid before the company in the general meeting. Okay, so before the general meeting only you have to give the books of accounts, financial statements to the members, which we already know. Okay, in case of the copies of documents can be sent less than 21 days. The general rule is at least 21 days before the date of meeting you should send the copies of financial statements. Generally, they are not telling it that you should send it along with the general meeting notice, but they are telling that at least 21 days before the date of meeting, you should send the notices. But you can send it within less than 21 days, that is within 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, anything, but it has to be less than 21 days when you get the consent Okay, whenever the company is having share capital, which represents 95% of such share capital, and they have a right to vote. 95% of such part of the paid up share capital, which gives them a right to vote at the meeting, that 95% I should take their consent. See, share capital will consist of my equity share capital and preference share capital. There might be certain matters in which certain equity shareholders will not be entitled to vote, or generally preference shareholders will not have the right to vote. You are excluding those and then calculating 95%. Clear? And in case where company is not having share capital, then 95% of the total voting power. For Section 8 companies, it is not less than 14 days, and certain companies are required to make a public notice in the newspaper circulated in the district in which the registered office of the Nidhi is situated, stating the date, time, and venue of AGM and financial statements along with its enclosures. It can be inspected at the registered office of the company. Now, obligation of the listed company. Go through obligation of the listed company and the manner. Go through these two and ask me if you have any doubts. your now company law, that's your hard skill. Your security laws, that's your hard skill. Drafting of minutes, that's your hard skill. These are your hard skills. For him, what was the skill? For him, what was the skill? Nikhil Kamath. What was his hard skill? Trading. Trading was his. How many years did he would have been around 16 years when he would have dropped out. He's almost 40 plus right now. Yes, and to make money, when did he actually start making money? 10-15 years back. So background ಅಲ್ಲಿ almost 15 ವರ್ಷ ಅವನು ಏನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಲ್ದಿರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದ್ ನಮಗ್ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. That's what. If he tried to find shortcuts, he wouldn't be in that place. He wouldn't be in that place. All these people know in one of the podcasts when you spoke about Nikhil Kamath, so all these founders were also there. End of the day, they were joking on Nikhil Kamath, saying that end of the day only he will make money. Okay, so he told, I have been doing whatever I'm doing today. I've been doing it for how long? For however long you guys are born. Since how many years you are born, I've been doing that. So it makes it's justified that I make some money. True. So many years he sacrificed everything. Who knew Nikhil Kamath 10 years back? No one knew. 15 years back, he was nobody. Huh. But does he come and tell, hey, I struggled, I had struggling phase? No, he doesn't even talk about it. But everyone, he just, so that's what matters to you guys. Do not get distracted. Especially exam time, ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ revision classes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ when exam is right around the corner, discomfort skyrockets. ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಓದೋಕ್ ಮನ್ಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದು. ಈ I don't want to use that. You will have great, brilliant friends. Okay. All these brilliant friends will start calling you right before exam. ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಐ ಆಮ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್, ನಾನು ಆ ಕೇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ದಿಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅರೆ ನಾ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. And you were also telling the other day that when your friends started practicing. I've told so many times, Sunit has no reason to come and sit in classes. He can get a decent job with his qualification. He didn't have to. Same goes with Praveen as well. Because they understood Praveen Malaysia. So they understood the need for these things. And there's so many people who have done. I have taught so many people who have studied way more than me. I'll be honest about it. In fact, I'll say I've had the privilege to be a teacher in those cases, and that's what I have learned from them as well. Delaying your gratification. It boils down to that. Exam time, well, especially the most worst decision students will take is in the month of December and in the month of May. To quit CS, to find a different course, okay, getting into new relationships, all this happens around. Okay, all this happens in December and May. All these are your escape mechanisms. Your mind is asking you to escape from all this and find something more comfortable.
Part-time jobs.
Part-time jobs, stupid distractions. How many of you are able to relate to this? At least some of the things I've told.
I was.
You're not. Adit,
What's that?
you guys are not relating to anything I said.
Job ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ
Huh. That's what, no, either job or anything, random thing, or some side business. All this is giving up nonsense. I'll tell you, I have a cousin, okay, and he was doing CA. He was in his CA final. He finished CA inter in single first attempt, both the groups at once. Okay, then he did his articleship in PwC. Okay, and he was very smart. From the school days, he was very smart. And CA final, he gave both the groups. And background, he also was into designing. Okay. So CA final results ಬಂತು ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಷನ್ ಏನೋ ಬಂತು ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನೋ ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು and he could CA at that point of time. Okay, see after completing articles and I'll tell you this actually happened and his dad actually kicked him out of the house. Actually kicked him out of the house. Okay, no one in the family, I mean like we knew, cousins knew that he was into designing from the school days. From the school days he was into it.
Passion.
It was his side work, it was more like a hobby. He used to make these animations, he used to make these short films and all. Even I used to go in those short films and on YouTube those videos I think are still there, I don't know. So suddenly one fine day he quit and he actually got into design. Initially he was getting less. Okay, but then in the background he was doing so much work no one knew. Okay, he has almost 1,50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay, he has almost 30-40,000 followers on Instagram. Okay, and he built a huge community of designers. He mentored so many people and no one knew about this. And when he quit his job and he started working, and he was also working on this, I haven't seen anyone working as hard as him. Okay, and then he started working. First, he worked in small company, and then he went to Unacademy. Today, whatever Unacademy's website you see, it was designed by him. Okay, and then he went on to work at Apple. Okay, he worked in Apple. Then he went on to. He's now in Germany working in a some stock exchange company. They're designing their UI UX systems. Okay, now he's making good money. Not just one source of income. He sells his own courses. Okay, so he's making very good money for his age. Like he's just 2 years elder to me. But everyone who saw, see, I know him personally from my childhood. I grew up with him, so I know his struggle. But anyone who sees him now, everything is sorted. The part where he had to get scoldings from his father, he had to leave his house for a small period of time, then go and work for some other company, small companies. Why he once he cleared those, that for a person who cleared CA inter in one attempt both the groups at once and CA final almost cleared, is it difficult to clear another 3 papers? No. No, right? And he was done with his articleship. ಯಾರೇ ಅವ್ನ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಆ 3 ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. Right? But see, that's what I'm saying. He built on foundation our level of build ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು then he took that decision. From his childhood. It took him almost a decade. You should see his old videos, all funny videos he was making, but still he was into animation. But then he built on those skills. He never gave up on that. Even when he was not getting any money, he was still doing it. That is true discipline. That is true discipline. Which you guys, some or the other place, you will feel like avoiding this pain, this discomfort. He would have had so many sleepless nights. He was doing all this along with his CA articleship in PWs. He never gave a reason that I'm working in I'm doing my articleship. You know, articles na literally they'll destroy their soul in those 2.5 years, 2 to 3 years. Okay, I worked in a CA firm and I've seen how hard the articles work for 10-15,000. They work genuinely hard. They pull all-nighters during audit season to gone case only. They get dinner also at the office till 10, 11, 12 they'll be in the office working
13 hours a day.
easily. But still doing all that and working in a big four, still choosing to build his YouTube channel, learn those designing skills, takes different level of hard work altogether. No distraction, nothing. 2-3 varsha, we were so mad at him that he was never meeting anyone. He never met us anywhere. But he was having his own fun. He was in his own zone, in his own world. His room was his world. Designing, studying was his world. We were irritated at him. Like next time the in career better. Somewhere it feels like that. But now probably when I am also in somewhat that position of my life, I get what he did. Today I'm not in touch with so many of my friends, but I know that tomorrow also if I call them and I ask them to meet, they will meet. It's been more than 2 years since I met one of my friends who stays very close to my house. More than 2 years, I think. But I know that if today, tomorrow, if I'm free and I'll just give him a call, come and let's go for breakfast, he will come in the morning. I can start off where I left 2 years back. So build these kind of relationships. Relationship ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಅದೊಂದೇ ತಲೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Those professional relationships, those build these meaningful relationships in your life. And especially, I don't know. I mean, like being a guy, I tend to empathize more with guys. That doesn't mean I have anything against girls, okay? Build that brotherhood. Build that brotherhood. Today, so many of my work that I do, I've told this multiple times, I do it with my friends. All my practice is with my friends. 70 to 80% of all my practice work is with my friends. ಅವನು ಸಿ ಎ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ನಾನು ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ವಿಲ್ ಕೀಪ್ ರೊಟೇಟಿಂಗ್ them. That's what truly matters. Do not get distracted. ನಮನ್ ಸರ್ ಉದಯ್ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಒಂಚೂರು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ once a week. Clear? Then copy of financial statements to be filed with registrar. With registrar, AOC 4 and AOC 4 CFS for consolidated financial statements with whom? With ROC within how many days? Within 30 days from the day on which AGM is held and adopted the financial statements and such fees or additional fees as specified by companies, registration officers and fees rules 2014. Which form should you file? AOC 4 or AOC 4 CFS. With whom should you file it? Within how many days? 30 days of what? 30 days on which AGM was held and the financial statements were adopted. The financials were adopted. All these conditions have to be met. Okay, it's not just 30 days from AGM. And now there would be a possibility that AGM was not held. See, your financial statements will only be called your final financials. Will be called final financial statements only and only when you have them adopted at the annual general meeting. Only when you have it adopted at the annual general meeting. Is this clear? Okay. So if at all it is not adopted, can I call those financial statements provisional financial statements? They're not final, but they're provisional. They're yet to be adopted. If at all AGM was not held, or if AGM was held and the financials were not adopted, I will end up filing with ROC as provisional financial statements until the annual general meeting. Okay. The same thing for one person company shall be within 180 days from the date of end of the financial year. Okay, so here you have 180 days from the end of the financial year. The company shall also attach accounts of subsidiaries incorporated outside India and which have not established their place of business in India with their financial statements. Now, what are they telling? If at all I'm an Indian company and I have a subsidiary, what does section 129 say? That I have to prepare consolidated financial statements. Did they say only for Indian subsidiary? No, any company. So now in this case, what are they telling? The company should attach the accounts of subsidiaries incorporated outside India and which have not established their place of business in India with the financial statements. Okay, I have my own company and I have another subsidiary which is, let's say, incorporated in Dubai. Okay, now their financials and their financials have to be attached with my financials. Clear? Provided also that in case of subsidiary which have been incorporated outside India, which is not required to get its financial statements audited under any of the country of its incorporation and which does not get such financial statements audited, the requirement of the fourth proviso shall be met if the holding of the Indian company files such unaudited financial statements along with a declaration to that effect. Let's say I have a subsidiary in very weird country where that country is saying, was your financial statements, do whatever the hell you wanted, do not come and bring it to me or do not get it audited. You are not required to get it audited. Okay, very business friendly countries, okay, where you don't even have to get your financials audited. Now, I have to file these financials with ROC as well. No, I can file these unaudited financial statements with ROC. It is not mandatory for the foreign subsidiaries in that country. If it is not required to audit their books of accounts, then I can file it without getting that subsidiaries. Now, my companies I have to get it audited. Okay, that companies I don't have to get it audited, and I can file it and I can give a declaration saying that was in so and so country, you are not required to
Audit.
or get your financials audited. Clear? Okay. Along with a declaration to this effect, and where such financial statement is in language other than in English, it should be translated to a translated copy of the financial statement in English should be filed with the other. Is this clear? Where annual general meeting of the company for any year has not been held, the financial statements along with the documents required to be attached duly signed along with the statement of facts and reasons for not holding AGM shall be filed with the registrar within how many days? Within 30 days of the last date before which AGM should have been held, and in such manner with such fees or additional fees as prescribed. The class of companies has may be notified by central government from time to time shall mandatorily file their financials in XBRL format, and the central government may specify the manner of such filing under such notification for such class of companies. Okay, is this clear? Then go through rule 3 once and penalty. Okay. Who's done with? Go through the rules and penalties. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ನೀ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ಏನೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೂ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗ ನಾಚ್ಕೋತೀಯರು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲಶ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಸಿಯೋನು ಬ್ಲಶ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
Yes.
Done. Let's continue. Now starting with auditors. Okay. The board of directors of a company shall appoint an individual or firm as the first auditor of the company within how many days? Within 30 days of the registration of the company. We are now talking about the first auditor of the company. Okay. In case of failure of the board to appoint the first auditor, okay, it shall inform the members of the company who shall within 90 days of EGM appoint such an auditor, and such auditor shall hold office till the conclusion of first annual general meeting. So whenever I am incorporating my company, within 30 days I have to appoint an auditor, and this auditor can be either an individual or a firm of auditors. Until when will they hold their office? Till the first annual general meeting, till the conclusion of first annual general meeting, till underline conclusion, till the conclusion of the first annual general meeting. Okay. Until the AGM is ended. What do you want? Okay. Every company shall at the first annual general meeting appoint an individual or firm as an auditor who shall hold the office till the conclusion of that meeting, from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of the sixth annual general meeting. You remember this? So your tenure is 5 years. Okay, because think about it. Your first auditor will start working from the day you appoint within 30 days from the date of registration of companies. Till when will he hold the office? Till the conclusion of first AGM. Till when? Conclusion of first AGM. Then your subsequent auditor will hold office from when? From the conclusion of the first annual general meeting till the conclusion of the sixth annual general meeting. That's it. Clear? Every company shall at the first annual general meeting appoint an individual or auditor or firm of auditor as an auditor who shall hold office from the conclusion of the first AGM, from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of the sixth annual general meeting. Okay, then what is the procedure? In case of a company is required to constitute audit committee, you remember, audit committee will recommend to board of directors. If the board of directors agree with the recommendation, they can directly go ahead with they will further recommend it to the shareholders. If at all board of directors are not fine with the recommendation, they will send the recommendation back to the audit committee for reconsideration. Okay, let's read this. Such committee, and in cases where the committee is not required, the board should take into consideration the qualifications and experience. See, or is it required for every company to have audit committee? No. But wherever audit committee is there, who should recommend? Audit committee should recommend. Whom will they recommend it to? The board of directors. Okay. If at all there is no audit committee, the board of directors itself will decide who will be the auditor based upon the qualification and experience of the individual or the firm proposed to be considered for appointment as auditor, and whether such qualification and experience are commensurate with the size and requirements of the company. Now, if it's a bigger company, I will require a chartered accountant, I will require an auditor who has more years of experience. Okay, if it is a small company, even if it is not a person with great experience, I can still appoint him as a auditor. But they are not telling hard and fast rule. Dot company, dot CNA ಇರ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. If at all they are needed, this is recommended. But if the board of directors feel that no, I want to give an opportunity to a fresher, they can. Okay. So they can trick you with these questions. While considering the appointment of auditor, the audit committee or the board, as the case may be, shall consider any pending proceedings relating to the professional matters. If at all he is a chartered accountant who has NFRA is having investigation against him. Now you should think twice before appointing such individual. Okay. Against the proposed auditor before the ICAI or any competent authority or any court. Further, they may call for such other information from the proposed auditor as it may deem fit. Where a company is required to constitute audit committee, the committee shall recommend the name of the individual or the firm of auditor, okay, as the auditor for the board for the consideration, and in other cases the board shall consider and recommend an individual or firm of auditors to the members. So what is the procedure? Audit committee to the board and board to the members. Okay. If the board agrees with the recommendation of audit committee, it will further recommend it to the members. Okay. Otherwise, it shall refer it back to the for recommendation to the committee for reconsideration, citing the reasons for disagreement. Now, who is having disagreement? Audit committee and the board of directors are having the disagreement. If the board agrees with the recommendation of the audit committee, it shall further recommend the appointment of auditor to the members in the AGM. Otherwise, it shall refer it back. It shall refer back the recommendation to the committee. Thereafter, if the audit committee decides not to reconsider its original recommendation, the board shall record the reasons for disagreement with the audit committee and send its own recommendation. See, if you look at it, the final power to decide whom to recommend as an auditor is with the board of directors. See, I am sending it back for audit committee for reconsideration. If the audit committee feels that no, my candidate is the best candidate, it does not mean that board is bound to follow that. Board now has the authority to go ahead with its own decision. Okay. The auditor appointed in AGM shall not hold office, shall hold the office from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of the 6th annual general meeting, with the meeting wherein such appointment has been made, being counted as its first meeting. Clear? Now, conditions for appointment and notice to the registrar. ADT1 has to be filed within 15 days from the meeting in which the auditor is appointed. Okay, how many days time do you have to file ADT1? Within 15 days from the date of appointment to file ADT1. Yeah, with whom will you file it with? ROC. Okay, you will file it with the ROC. Okay, I hope everyone knows registrar is ROC. Just confirming. The individual or firm is eligible for appointment and is not disqualified for appointment under the Act. Disqualification of auditor section number, remember?
141.
141. Okay. The Chartered Accountants Act 1949 and the rules or regulations made thereunder. The proposed appointment is as per the term provided under the Act. The proposed appointment is within the limits laid down by or under the authority of the Act. The list of the proceedings against the auditor or audit firm or any partner of the audit firm pending with respect to professional matters of conduct as disclosed in the certificate is true and correct. A certificate shall also indicate whether the auditor satisfies the criteria provided in section 141. That is the disqualification. Go through these 4 points and remember, one is the individual or firm is eligible for appointment and is not disqualified under section 141 and the Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. The proposed appointment is as per the terms provided in the Act. The proposed appointment is within the limits laid down under the by or under the authority of the Act. The list of proceedings against the auditor or audit firm or any partner of the audit firm pending with respect to the professional matters of conduct as disclosed in the certificate is true and correct. Go through this. Remember these 4 points.
After registrar, is there any designation of deputy registrar or something?
You have assistant or a senior. Under ROC you have, when you go to ROC's office, you will see different cabins. Under ROC you will have. And you will have assistant ROC, you have some, even I don't remember.
Because for cooperative societies, in every district there will be one deputy registrar. For cooperative.
Here, registrar in Companies Act means ROC only. Okay. So ROC, when you go to ROC Bangalore also, one day just go and talk. One day just go after your, not now, after your exams. ಈಗಲೇ ಬಂದ್ರು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ
What is the qualification for?
Civils. Most likely, if you otherwise there is again normal job ತಗೊಂಡು promotions ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ROC ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಡರ್ IAS IPS ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಡರ್ ಇಸ್ ROC. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಡರ್ ಇಸ್ ROC.
Indian financial services.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ IAS UPSC ಬರೀತೀವಲ್ಲ UPSC ಥ್ರೂನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ROC. Where I did my masters, all those people who cleared their UPSC along with their interviews will come for training in Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Only for see all the other 9 I think there are 10. All the above 9 cadres will go to what is that Lavas something. Where is this? There are. Okay, they'll go there for training. But only for people who are about to be appointed as an ROC, they'll come to IIC for training. Huh? So that's where I met 2-3 ROCs. We all were in the same campus only. We were like in the stream 30s only, some 4th and 5th. You are still in contact with them. One more. But Bangalore ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು post ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾರೋ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್
ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲಸ
ಇರಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡ
Go through this and remember the 4th question. ನೀವು ಹೋದಪ್ಪ ಕಳ್ಳ. Yeah, 4 points ಹೇಳು. ನೀನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಏನೋ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ.
ಅದು ಈಗ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಸರ್ ಅದು ನಾವೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
ಆಯ್ತು ಓಕೆ. 4 points ಹೇಳು. Today's revision was good.
Yes.
When will the second auditor term start? From the conclusion of sixth AGM. See, let's say the sixth AGM starts at 10 a.m. and goes up to 12 p.m. The first auditor, okay, the first auditor will hold office till 12 p.m. From 12 p.m., the second auditor will start his term and will go on till the conclusion of the sixth AGM. Similarly, how we calculated from and till, right? AGM. Similarly, we will calculate the same for the sixth AGM. So then the third auditor term will start from when? From the conclusion of sixth AGM, third auditor, first
First to six, six to 12.
First auditor will be appointed within 30 days of incorporation, no?
Ah.
He will hold office till
Conclusion of
conclusion of first AGM. Second auditor will start from the conclusion of first AGM to till the conclusion of sixth AGM. Then third auditor will start from the conclusion of sixth AGM to 11th AGM, 5 years alva. 5 years. 1 to 6, no? 0 to 6 alla adu. 1 to 6.
Yes.
0 to 1, 1 to 6, and 6 to 11, and then 11 to 16. 11 to 16, then 16 to 21. So it will be from 6th AGM to 11th AGM, yes. To be more precise, so it will be from the conclusion of 6th AGM till the conclusion of 11th AGM. The same thing, whatever you have phrased it, so it will be from the conclusion of 6th AGM till the conclusion of 11th AGM. Is this clear, Chandra?
5 minutes first best.
Just note. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬೇಕಿತ್ತ
Why this notes, sir? Why this notes?
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ
Yesterday I asked for the Zoom passport.
ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಒಂದು ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ದ
Zoom meeting ಇತ್ತು.
ಅರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೇಳು I would have listed when the class is going on.
ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಂದು ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ
Appointment of auditor in the government company. The first auditor shall be appointed by CAG. Now the same thing, 30 days. Within 30 days from the date of incorporation, in case of failure to do so, the board shall appoint within the next 30 days. So first 60 days are there. Who should appoint? CAG. If CAG is not appointing, then you have another 30 days where the board of directors have the power to appoint the first auditor. If at all even the board of directors are failing to appoint, then inform the members who shall appoint the auditor within 60 days of the within 60 days at the extraordinary general meeting. Such auditor shall hold office unto conclusion of the first AGM. Okay. In case of subsequent auditor for the existing government companies, the CAG shall appoint the auditor within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year, and the auditor so appointed shall hold the position till the conclusion of that AGM. Same thing as above. Okay.
So basically, if they miss also, they have a total of 150 days.
Is this clear, Praveen? Online. Everyone attending online, is this clear? Even you, is this clear? 60,
30, 60.
60, 30, 60. Mandatory rotation of auditors. You remember all listed companies, all unlisted public companies with a paid up share capital of 10 crore or more, and all private limited companies having paid up share capital of 50 crore or more, and all companies having paid up share capital below the threshold limit mentioned in A and B above, but having public borrowings from financial institution, banks, or public deposits of 50 crore or more. Okay, do you have to comply with all the conditions? No. either of the conditions. If it is a unlisted public company, then 10 crore or more. If it's a private limited company, then 50 crore or more. Then if it is any other company, if at all your debt, either public borrowings, loans, or public deposits is 50 crore or more. But for independent director, it is exceeding 50 crores. Here it is 50 crores or more. There is a difference between independent director and here. Independent director, what was the requirement? Exceeding 50 crores. So the 50th crore count agala. Illi 50th crore will also be counted. Okay, don't ask me why. I really don't know. They could have just standardized it everywhere. The concept of rotation of auditors shall not apply to one-person companies and small companies. All the companies mentioned above shall not appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor of the company for more than one term for 5 consecutive years. All the companies mentioned above shall not appoint or reappoint an audit firm as an auditor of the company for more than 2 terms of consecutive 5 years. Okay? So cooling period is 5 years. If it is an individual after one term, the cooling off period will be 5 years. If it is a firm, after 2 terms of 5 years. Okay, and also look at the term of 5 years. Here is it up to 5 years or one term of 5 years?
One term of 5.
So, illi one term would mean 5 years. Unlike your independent director, where your one term can be up to 5 years. So, even if you were an independent director for 1 year, I would consider it to be a single term. Clear? Go through this rule 6. Come to removal of auditors. Once you are done with this, once you are done, you are not done. Now removal of auditor, do you need a special notice here? No man, do you need a special notice for removal of auditors?
Yes.
How? Which section tells that?
This will be fixed. 1 115.
115.
Five.
What are the two cases where you need special notice? Removal of auditors and
Removal
removal
of
of directors. Can articles give any other matter with respect to which special notice may be required? Yes or no? Yes, articles can give any other matter in which these two though, no matter whether articles allow or not, these two matters will require special notice. Other than these two, if you want, you can include it. Clear? The auditor appointed under 139 of the Act may be removed from his office before the expiry of his term only by special resolution of the company after obtaining the prior approval of the central government in that behalf in the manner prescribed in Rule 7. Okay. As per Rule 7, the auditor appointed under 139 may be removed from the office, from his office before the expiry of his term after obtaining prior approval of the central government by filing application with the central government in which form? ADT2 within 30 days of the resolution passed by the board. The company shall hold the general meeting within how many days? 60 days of the approval of the central government for passing what? Special resolution. The auditor concerned shall be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard. Then resignation. If at all the auditor who has resigned, he should file a statement in ADT 3. Who is filing? Not the company. The auditor himself is filing with the registrar. Okay. In case of government company, the auditor shall within 30 days of resignation file the statement with the registrar. In case other than government company. In case of government company, auditor shall file within how many days? Within 30 days of resignation, file such statement to the company and the registrar and also file the statement with CAG. See, if it is not a government company, you are sending ADD 3 to 2 people, company and ROC. If it is a government company, you are sending it to 3 people, company, ROC and CAG of India. If the auditor does not comply with the provisions of 1 and 142 of the Act, it shall be liable for a penalty of 50,000 or an amount equal to the remuneration of the auditor, whichever is less in case of continuing. Now, disqualification of auditor, the most important part. Disqualification of auditor. Everyone should pay attention right now. Okay, everyone should pay attention right now. Okay, section 141(3) of the Act, read with Rule 10. What is the provision? First, what is the provision? Section 141, subsection 3, read with Rule 10 of
Appointment and auditor.
Rules 2014 prescribe the following person shall not be eligible for appointment as on the date as an auditor of a company. Namely, a body corporate can never be an auditor of the company. Exception to this rule is LLP. If at all it is an LLP, you can appoint it as an auditor. That's the reason everywhere we are telling firm of auditors, which is nothing but an LLP. Okay. An officer or employee of the company, either an officer of the company or an employee of the company cannot be an auditor of the company. Then a person who is a partner or who is in the employment of an officer or employee of the company. Read the C point once again, the third point. A person who is a partner or who is in employment, not of the company, but of an officer or employee of the company. Let's say we are looking whether Kedar can be appointed in ABC Limited as an auditor. Okay. Of course, he should not be an employee in ABC Limited. But let's say in ABC Limited, the employee is Naman. Okay. Now Kedar should not be a partner of Naman or should not be in employment of Naman. Is this clear? Okay. This is your third point. First point is body corporate cannot be an auditor except LLP, officer or employee of the company. Third, any person who is a partner or is an employee of an officer or employee of the company. So the third point is more or less like continuation of the second point itself. Second point is officer or employee of the company. Third point is partner or employee of the person who is an employee or officer in the company. Then fourth point is where it is important. What are they telling? A person who himself or his relative or partner. So what are they telling? There is one person, let's say Mr. A. Okay. He himself or his relatives. Whose relatives? Mr. A's relatives. Or partner of Mr. A. Okay. He is holding any security. So what are we talking about in the fourth point? We are talking about security or interest. We are talking about security or interest in the company or its subsidiary company. Whose subsidiary?
The company.
In the company. Let's say we are trying to appoint him in ABC Limited. In its subsidiary company or holding company or associate company or subsidiary of the holding company. Okay. So what are they telling? Let's say ABC Limited. Okay. ABC Limited's holding company is XYZ. Its associate company is DEF. And its subsidiary is PQR Limited. But let's say another subsidiary of the holding company. So XYZ can have another subsidiary called LMN. Okay. In all these 5 companies, he should not be holding any security or interest in the company, its holding company, subsidiary, associate, or subsidiary of such holding company. However, the relative may hold security. Now there is an exception for the relative. He may hold a security or interest in the company of face value not exceeding rupees 1 lakh. So, if at all he is holding in face value of 1 lakh, it is allowed. If it is more than 1 lakh in face value, then it is not allowed. Who? The relative. This exception is for relative. This shall, wherever relevant, be also applicable in case of company not having share capital or other securities. If there is no share capital, then we see the contribution amount. Okay, then we see the contribution amount. In the event of acquiring any security or interest by a relative, if you are acquiring any security or interest by a relative above the thresholds prescribed, the corrective action to maintain the limits as specified above shall be taken by the auditor within how many days? Within 60 days of such acquisition of interest. Let's say you have exceeded 1 lakh. You have 60 days of time to take corrective action. What is the corrective action? To reduce it at 1 lakh or less than 1 lakh. That will be your corrective action. How much time do you have?
60 days.
60 days. A person who or whose relative or partner. Now we are talking about a person who or whose relative, basically this person's relative or this person's partner is indebted to the company, its subsidiary company, holding company, associate company, or subsidiary of such holding company, basically all these 5 companies. Okay. In excess of rupees 5 lakh shall not be eligible for appointment. Either Mr. A, we are looking to appoint Mr. A. Mr. A should not be indebted to the company, its holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, or subsidiary of such holding company exceeding how much? In excess of 5 lakh rupees. Either alone or together with the relative of Mr. A or together with the relative of Mr. or partner of Mr. A. Either individually or collectively. This limit should be taken either individually or collectively. Is this clear? What was the first point? Face value of 1 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. Up to 1 lakh if it is there, I have no issue. You can be appointed as an auditor. Who? Only the relative. Second point was corrective action within 60 days. Third point was with respect to indebtedness of the company. Okay, within what is the limit? Up to 5 lakhs. The company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, and subsidiary of such holding company. Okay, so even here, so if it is less than or equal to 5 lakhs, then I have no issue. If it is more than 5 lakhs, then you cannot be appointed. A person who or whose relative or partner has given guarantee or provided security in connection with the indebtedness of a third person. In now, see, third and fourth point are interlinked. Third point is when Mr. A himself or Mr. A's relative himself or Mr. A's partner himself have taken loan from the company holding subsidiary, associate and subsidiary of such holding company. But the fourth point is talking about what? If he has given guarantee or provided security in connection with the indebtedness of third person. Now let's call this third person as Mr. D. Mr. D had taken loan from ABC Limited or DEF Limited or PQR Limited or
That value.
LMN Limited or either of those 5 companies. Who has taken Mr. D? Who is the third person here? Mr. D. Is he the person whom we are trying to appoint as an auditor? No. Is he relative of Mr. A? No. Is he partner of Mr. A? No. But Mr. A or his relative or his partner, okay, have given guarantee or provided security with respect to the loan that D has taken from these 5 companies. From either of these 5 companies, either alone or together, consolidated, it should not exceed how much? In excess of 1 lakh rupees. So it should be less than or equal to 1 lakh. Go ahead. If it is more than 1 lakh, then you cannot. Is this clear? What was the first point? Body corporate except LLP, officer or employee of the company, or any person who is partner or relative of such, or employee of such, officer or employee of the company. Then next you have person who along with his relative or either that person, let's call him Mr. A. That relative is Mr. B and the partner of Mr. A is Mr. C. Okay, Mr. A alone or together with Mr. A plus B or Mr. A plus C or ABC together. These are the 4 limits. First point is with respect to security or interest. Second point is with respect to corrective action. And then third point is with respect to indebtedness. And fourth point is with respect to guarantee or security. What are the limits? 1 lakh, 5 lakh and 1 lakh again. 151. Okay. Then a person or a firm who whether directly or indirectly has business relationship with the company or its subsidiary or its holding or associate company. Remember here subsidiary or holding company is not there. Okay, what are they telling? A person or a firm who whether directly or indirectly has a business relationship with the company. Okay, now next they have defined what is business relationship, but for now let's try to understand this. A person or a firm who whether directly has a business relationship or indirectly has a business relationship with the company or its subsidiary or its holding or associate company. Now what do you mean by business relationship? Business relationship shall be construed as any transaction entered into for commercial purposes. Okay, any transaction for commercial purposes. They have given 2 exceptions. First exception, commercial transaction which are in nature of professional services will not be included here. Then second, commercial transaction which is in the ordinary course of business of the company at arm's length price, like sale of products or services to an auditor as a customer in the ordinary course of business. Let's say I'm a 4-wheeler manufacturing company. Just because you are about to be auditor of my company does not mean that I will give you a car for free. Okay. If at all you want to purchase a car, whatever price I am selling it to my other customers, you can buy it at that price. Don't expect any additional discounts. Okay. If at all I give additional discounts, of course it will come under business relationship. Okay, so what is excluded? Professional service, and what is in the ordinary course of business, and the second condition for second point is at arm's length basis. Basically, there is that distance between the company and the person who is proposed to be appointed as an auditor. Now here, which companies are we talking? Company, holding, subsidiary and associate company. Remember, I asked you to write even in the class, subsidiary of holding company is not mentioned here. Okay, be very careful. Then the fifth point, this is the sixth point, sixth, right?
Yes, sir.
A person whose relative is a director or in the employment of the company as a director or KMP, a person who is in the full-time employment elsewhere, or a person or a partner of a firm holding appointment as an auditor if such person or partner is at the date of such appointment or reappointment holding appointment as auditor of more than 20 companies. Then a person who has been convicted by a court of an offence involving a fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed. So if at all you have been convicted, see, one is allegation. I am saying that so and so person has committed fraud. But the court deciding that yes, he has committed fraud is conviction. If he has been convicted of committing a fraud, then a period of 10 years has, that is the cooling off period. After 10 years, again he can be appointed as an auditor. Then any person who directly or indirectly renders services referred to in 144. 144 provides those services which you are not supposed to give as an auditor. Your bookkeeping services, actuarial services, there is this list. Okay. If at all you are providing those services, then you cannot be appointed as an auditor of the company. The term directly or indirectly shall include rendering of services by auditor in case of individual either himself or through relative or any person connected or associated with such individual or through any other entity whatsoever in which such individual has a significant influence or control. Wherever you are having significant influence, then I will consider it to be directly or indirectly. And the second case, in case of auditors of the firm, the same thing, significant influence or control, the same thing. Is this clear? Or whose name or trademark is used by such individual. Okay, this is your disqualification of auditors. You remember the first time how much we struggled to do this? We took almost 1.5 hours to finish this. But this time, so easy. That's what happens when you actually study and come. You remember so many times when you asked for targets. I gave you 2-3 times to study.
There are so many questions there.
Is it the
A bit same as independent director qualification.
Similar, but a bit there are differences. It's not the same.
Role of writing business relationship meaning in like some
You should brief out that. If they are specifically asking a question with respect to business failure, you pull back. But when they are normally asking disqualification, briefly on the sentence more. Just to show that, boss, I know what is business relationship. See, only when you are calm in exam mode, you can think at this level. Yes, so freak out will not write or will end up writing the full definition. Question paper mugiyalla. Calm ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು exam. Enough?
iceberg
ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಕೋತೀಯ
ಅದೇನಾದ್ರು
ತಲೆ ಬಿಸಿ ಫ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ತಲೆ powers of auditors and all should I do?
So
Fine, right? Then which other cost audit you guys can do it? Secretarial audit. That's it.
yes, sir.
So done with accounts audit and auditors.